Alrighty, we are on the last 3 pages. We're going to get this all done in one foul swoop. Starting on 4.14, write major scales on the staff. Okay, let me zoom in a bit. There we go. Alright. So, we're going to look at this step by step. Step 1, write in a D-flat major scale. So, we are going to start by drawing 8 note heads in ascending order. Begin with the keynote. We know that's D flat. There's D flat in ascending order. Go all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then make sure both of them have a flat because it's D flat. Okay. Next, we're going to write numbers 1 through 8 on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then write the whole and half steps. So whole, half, whole, half. That's our order for the major scale. And then finally, using a keyboard, we're going to figure out which notes need flats or sharps. And because we're in D flat, we know that we're just going to have flats. So from D flat, we need a whole step. 1, 2. That's going to be E flat, so we need the flat there. Then we need another whole step. 1, 2. It's plain old F, no worries about that. Then a half step. 1. So it's G flat. Then we need a whole step between 4 and 5. 1, 2. A flat. Another whole step. 1, 2. B flat. One more whole step. 1, 2. C. And then finally, final half step to D flat. And yep, flat, flat. And there you go. There's our D flat major scale on a staff. Alright, so we're going to write these scales, and here's my keyboard down here to help us. So we do the 8 note head starting with the keynote, make sure it has a sharp or a flat first. So we're on B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starts and ends on B. Okay. Is there a sharp or flat on B? There is not, so don't have to worry about it. Now we're going to write numbers 1 through 8 below the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Then we're going to write whole and half steps between the numbers. So we know that it's whole, half, whole, half. Now from there, we need to get the patterns, the sharps and flats that we need in there. So, starting on B, here's B, and we go, first we have to get to a whole, so 1, 2. Let me do that a little better. 1, 2. That's going to be our C something, C sharp. So we got a sharp there. Next is hold the whole step. 1, 2. Alright, we are on D, D sharp. Then a half step. 1. And that's just a plain old E, so we can leave that E as is. Then a whole step. 1, 2. That is E sharp, or F sharp. Another whole step. 1, 2. Now we're at G sharp. Next one. 1, 2. A sharp. And then last one, half step. B. No sharp. Alright. That is our B major scale. Okay. Now we're on key of E flat. So let's get our notes written in. 1, 2, 3. Remember, bass clef. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we know that it starts on E flat, so these ones are flat. Okay, let's take a look, find E flat. Here's E flat. Oh, And 1, 2, 3, gotta number them, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, whole step between the first two, and 1, 2, plain old F, leave it as is. Another whole step, 1, 2, plain old G, leave as is. Now we're at a half step between 3 and 4. 1. We're on A flat. Okay, next is we need a whole step between those. There's our B flat. Next is a whole step, 1, 2. Plain old C, leave as is. One more whole step, 1, 2. Plain old D, leave as is. And then finally half step with our E flat. And there we have it. There's our E major scale. Okay. Now we are back to our lovely circle of fifths. We're going to write our scales on the circular staff and arrange them according to the keys in the circle of fifths. And we can go ahead and use dots on the keyboard to help us with that. And notice the number of sharps in each scale. So we're going to first start with C. Here's C. And there's our C. First, let's get our scale in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Now, if we remember, there are no sharps and no flats on C, so these should just go on the white keys, but we're just going to double check. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. There we go. There's C. Now, here's our next one. If you remember, it's G. So we start on G because remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start on the fifth scale degree to get to G. So here's G. And they want us on bass clef. Does it say bass clef at the beginning? Yes, it does. So we're on bass clef. Okay. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And they have this little cheat sheet here. I think they have it in each, not in each corner this time. That's fine. So we got whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay. Let's get these written on here. 7 and 8. We know that this one right here is the sharp, the second to last one, F sharp. All right. Remember giant dogs, so D, or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth scale degree, and that's our next one. So here's D. Start on D. Still in bass clef, so we know that this is D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Here we go. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay. The third one and the seventh one have some alteration. So normally this would be F, but this is going to be F sharp. So we have our F sharp, and then we have our C sharp. So the rest of these, the F is always going to be sharp, and the rest, the C is going to be sharp. So we're just going to be adding sharps as we go. All right, next one. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Giant dogs, always, if I remember correctly. Yep, always. Here's our A. Still bass clef, so let's check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, here we go. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, we have 3 sharps now. Remember, we just add a sharp each time. 3 sharps this time. So that's going to be on C, on F and G. C, F, and G. Okay? All right, giant dogs always eat. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's on E. There's our E. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We're up to 4. We know that F, C, and G are sharp. All that we added was a D sharp. So we have F sharp, we have G sharp, those are those two, A, B, C sharp, and D sharp. There we go. Giant dogs always eat B4. Here's B. And there's B on bass clef. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All right, here's B, C sharp, D sharp, plain E, F sharp, G sharp, and then we added the A sharp, and then B. Giant dogs always eat before furry. And remember, this is a sharp on it. So here's our F sharp. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing. Here is our F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay. F sharp. Next one is G sharp, then A sharp, then we've got our normal B, then C sharp, then D sharp. We already have F sharp at the end, so this can't be F. This has got to be E something. E sharp. And there we go. That is key of F sharp major scale. And giant dogs always eat before furry cats. C sharp. Here's our C sharp. Here's our C sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's got to be sharp too. So we start on C sharp and on C sharp. Here we go. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay. Here we go. D sharp. It's not F, so it's got to be an E sharp because that's on the F key, but E sharp is the same. Then we got F sharp, then G sharp, then A sharp. B is not on the B key here. It's one up above, so it's got to be B sharp. Everything has a sharp on it. How nice. And that is our sharp keys. Okay. And then finally, flat keys. So we got C. And these are going to be treble clef here. So there's our C. And remember, C is just going to be on the white keys. No accidentals. It's pretty simple. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. Next, we start on F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, remember whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth one, we normally would be a B, but it was lowered, so we have B flat. Okay. Now this one was, if we remember, 5 big elephants are dragging garbage cans. So 5 big, and because we're starting on B flat, gotta make sure that's a flat. So all the rest are gonna be flat. Okay. So here we are. There's our B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We know that's flat. Alrighty. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is it. 5 big elephants. E flat, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 4. That's right, because we're going backwards now. That only count 4. Ignore that. Starting on E flat. There's our E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And last one, we've got to make sure that's E flat as well. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We already know that B flat has to be flat. You know that E flat is. There's one more in there, and that is our A flat. Okay. 5 big elephants are. Speaking of that flat that we just added, that's where we start. Okay, here's our A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Still gotta be flat. So we already have our E flat, A flat, and B flat. Let's get our B flat in there and our E flat. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So we got A flat, we got B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. And we're good. Five big elephants are dragging. D flat. Remember, that's the flat that we just added anyway. There's our D flat. Here's our D flat. And then our last D flat. Well, we'll get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All except 2 right now. So we got D flat, we got E flat, normal F, we got G flat, A flat, and B flat. We just added the G flat this time. Keep that in mind. Then we have our normal C and our D flat. Speaking of which, the G flat we just added, we put up here in our next key signature. Boom. G flat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's our flat. There's our G flat. Okay. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All right. So we got G flat, we got our A flat, we got our B flat. Can't have it be natural because B's flat, so this has to be our C flat, then our D flat, then our E flat, and then plain old F. And our last one, we just added the C flat, so that's our next key. C flat. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Got C flat, we got D flat, we got E flat, we even have our F flat from before. No, that's our new one. That's our F flat's our new one. That's right. And then G flat, then A flat, and then B flat. All of them are flat. Because last one, that's just what you gotta do. And that is chapter 4.